Hello everyone, so in this last video we're going to talk about critical path calculations, and for that I'm going to be showing you on Excel a small exercise about how the critical path is actually calculated by hand. Now I know that most softwares will do this for you automatically, but I think it's important to know where these calculations come from and how it's done so you understand the logics of task interactions.
All right, so in order for us to do the critical path calculations, you need first to have your network diagram. And then that's basically what I did here. This is the network diagram, but for each one of the nodes we have, I substituted with a box that looks like this, okay? So this box has a couple of different things. It has one large box at the top and the bottom, one central box, and then two more boxes or cells from each side. The one at the very top, okay, we put the name of the task, all right, the name of the task. Then the one in the center is the duration of the task, okay, so how long does the task last for. Then the one at the bottom is for my float, okay, so the extra time that I have for each one of the tasks. So which leaves us here these four boxes over here that you can see. And for these four boxes, the left ones are the start dates, and the right ones are the finish dates. Then the two top ones are the early dates, and the two bottom ones are the late dates. So in other words, this box over here would be my early start. So this one indicates the earliest day that I can start this task. Then this one over here would be my early finish. In other words, the earliest day that I can finish this task. This one over here would be my late start. In other words, the latest day I can start this task without delaying the whole project. And finally, the last one, I bet you probably can guess, late finish. The latest day that I can finish this task without delaying the whole project. And it's the same structure for all the tasks over here, okay? So now I'm just gonna eliminate this and I'm just gonna do a couple things. Here on the right, you have the table with all the necessary information you need. Okay, so what I did here was give the tasks and create the dependencies for each one of them, and I already drew them with these little arrows and the boxes there, so everything is complete, so we can really focus on the duration of the tasks. Okay, so the first step we're gonna do is put the names of each one of the tasks on the box. Well, actually the first step would be to draw all the boxes and the arrows. So let's say step 2, the names of the tasks, okay, which are over here on the table. Step 3, the duration of each one of the tasks. So task A, for example, will last for 4 days, okay. Task B will last for 3 days. Task C will last for 5 days. Task D will last for 3 days. E, 3, F, 3, G, 2, and H, 2. Okay, so I completed all that. And then what we're going to start is the following. We're going to start with task A, okay, and we're going to move forward. And typically the way it goes is first we're going to complete all the early lines, okay. So let me show you how it's done. So task A, the earliest day I can start task A, which is my very first task, would be day 0. In other words, day 0 represents the first day of work or the beginning of the first day of work. So if I start it on day 0 and this task lasts for 4 days, what is the earliest day I can finish task A? Well, 0 plus 4, so therefore would be a 4, okay, a 4. So now what I do is, okay, task A finishes on day 4, and that means that I can now start task B on day 4 as well, all right? And once again, what is the earliest day that I can finish task B? 4 plus 3, this would be a 7. Let's now go to task C. Now task C also has just one arrow coming in, so that means the 4 will come here. And again, 4 plus 5, there is a 9. Now let's go to task D. Once again, I copy the 4, 4 plus 3, again 7. Okay? All right, now let's go to task A. Task E starts after task B. Task B finishes on day 7, so task E can start on day 7, and 7 plus 3 would be 10. Perfect. Now let's go to task F, and this is where things start to get a little bit, where you need to be a little bit more careful. Now I have task F. Task F can only start after task C and task D are completed. Now task D ends on day 7, task C ends on day 9. Can I start this on day 7? Can I start this task on day 7? No, because by day 7 task C is not completed yet. So when moving forward, you have to use the highest number. Between 7 and 9, the highest one is 9. Oops, wrong key, 9. And now, like normal, 9 plus 3, this would be a 12. Here, once again, same thing. I have a 9, I have a 7. What number do I use? The highest one, so 9. 9 plus 2, this would be 11. And now here's another one, task H. This one has 3 arrows coming in. Let's see which one is the highest. From E, I can finish on day 10. F finishes on day 12, and G finishes on day 11. So I have to use number 12, because it's the highest number. And finally, 12 plus 2, 14. Excellent. So with this, you already see that indeed this number here is very important, because now with this number I just calculated that the whole project can be done by day 14. Okay, so because this number is important, is the duration of the project. Now if the earliest day that I can finish my last task is day 14, this automatically becomes as well the latest day I should finish this task. In other words, when you are on the very last task, you just copy your early start and you copy it as being a late finish. Sorry, you copy your early finish, you copy it down to be your late finish. And now we're gonna move backwards. And now it's just a different way. So it's just gonna be two main differences. Instead of adding, we're gonna subtract. So 14 minus 2 will become a 12 for the latest day I can start this task. Okay, and now we have to be careful, because now let's see, look here. Let's go to task G, for example. Now task G is on H is only connected to G by 1 arrow. So all I need to do is once again to just copy that number, 12. 12 minus 2, 10. Once again here, how many arrows are coming in towards F? In this case, just one again, which is H. And once again, 12. 12 minus 3, that will be a 9. And finally the 12 that goes here, because only one arrow as well, 12. 12 minus 3, once again, a 9. Now let's go to task D. Now task D, what we see is that there's 2 arrows here, right? There's this one over here, and there's this one over here. In other words, task D, okay, comes before task G and task F. Now when you have this situation, 10 and 9, instead of using the highest number, you're going to use the lowest number, right? So between 10 and 9, you would use 9. And now 9 minus 3 would be 6. Here, same thing. All right, for task C, I have a 9 from task F and I have a 10 from task G. So I'm going to use 9. And 9 minus 5 would be 4. Here, once again, for B, I only have 9, so 9. 9 minus 3 would become, once again, a 6. And finally, for task A, I have a 6, I have a 4, and I have a 6. And you know that we have to use the lowest number, so I'm going to use 4. And 4 minus 4, it's a 0. If by the end you come back to the first task and you get once again a 0, then you probably did most of the things correct, and good job on that. So after all this is done, what is the next step? Next step is very simple. We're going to complete the very last box. And how do we do that? It's just simple. We just do the late finish minus the early finish. Okay? Late finish minus early finish. In other words, okay, it would be this one over here minus this one. So 14 minus 14 becomes a 0. All right, how about for G? Well, 12 minus 11 becomes 1. 12 minus 12 becomes a 0. 12 minus 10 becomes a 2. 9 minus 7 becomes 2 there for task B. For C we have a 0 once again, because it's 9 minus 9. And for D we have 9 minus 7, which would be a 2. All right? And finally, for task A, 4 minus 4, 0. So what is the last one? The last one we have is the float, the extra time for each task. So for example, task B, I can start task B. I can delay the start by 2 days and it would not affect the end of the project. Task E, I could start it late by 2 days and it would not affect the end of the project. Task G, I could start it late by 1 day and it would not affect the end of the project. And this is why these numbers are important. Now you also notice that there are some numbers over here that are 0. In other words, I cannot start them late. Otherwise, it changes and it will affect my whole project. And why is that? Well, this task over here, the tasks that have zeros are my critical path. This is the critical path of my project. And so for these ones, what I do is I paint them in a different color, all right, to show that they are the critical path, and I connect any boxes that have 0, I connect the arrows with a different color. And now, after doing all this, I know a couple of things. I know that my critical path are the tasks A, C, F, H. I know that the duration of my project is 14 days. And I know that task B, E, and D have a slack of 2 days, and task G has a float of just 1. And as you can see, just by doing this, we had a lot of good information that can really help us manage our project better.
So as you can see, critical path calculations are not super easy to do, but they're not super hard either. And they do give us very important information because it allows us to know what are the tasks that we need to do, what are the tasks we can focus on, and specifically how much float we have in each one of the tasks that later on we might need to use to help us in another task. Thank you very much for watching, and once again, if you have any questions, just leave a question on the comment section below. Thank you very much.